During the chaos that went on in Susa after the death of Cyrus the Great, the Babylonians took it as an opportunity to prepare themselves to revolt. As Cambyses was mad and doing all manner of crazy things, he went to Egypt and he even forgot to organize his government in Susa. And then Smarties, the imposter, came in, and then there was an insurrection led by Darius. During all this time, the Babylonians were preparing themselves to gain their freedom. So this is the plan they put in place. They stocked a lot of food and other essentials, and they made sure that whatever they had in stock would last them years. They knew that the Persians will come and siege the city, lay siege to the city, and they were preparing themselves to hold on for at least several years. And they knew if they could hold on long enough, the Persians will in the end give up and go back and leave them to be independent again. So they stocked a lot of food and other essentials, and then they took another, it was like an extreme step. They asked every man was allowed to keep their mother and choose one other female member of their family, and then the rest of the women were killed. Basically, they were killed, and the reason for this was that they wanted to remove anybody who could consume the resources they had saved and could not add anything to the cause. So they killed a significant chunk of the population. So when this was done, now they openly revolted. And now at the point they are revolting, Darius is now the king, and Darius gets to hear about the revolt, and then he himself decides to go with an army to Babylon and try to recapture the city. Now he goes to Babylon, and then once he reached there, he realizes that it was not going to be easy for him and his army. The city had very secure walls, and then the Babylonians knew what happened when Cyrus the Great came, and they were not ready to be caught unaware again. So they had taken every step to secure every part that they knew the Persians could use to get into the city. They were aware how Cyrus had come to them and took over the city without their knowledge, basically. But this time round, they were ready, and they secured the city walls, the gates, and everything, and then they waited for the Persians to come. Now, Darius comes with a huge army, and he realizes he can't get into the city, and he lays a siege. And the siege starts going on and goes on and goes on, days, weeks, months. It kept going on, and the Persians are trying to think of a way to breach the security of the Babylonian city, but they could not come up with anything. In fact, at some point, the Babylonians now started insulting them through the walls. Herodotus says that one of them was telling them, "Why do you sit there, Persians? Why don't you go back to your homes?" He tells them, "Till mules fall, you will not take our city." Like, till you wait until a mule gives birth, that's the only time you can take over our city. But it's not, basically telling them it's not going to happen because mules don't give birth. At least that was the common understanding. It's still the case that mules don't give birth. So the Persians sit there. It's going, a year has gone by. It's gone a year and 8 months. The Persians are now tired. They are almost giving up. The Babylonians still holding on, and they're still strong, and they're still going on. Life inside the city is going on like nothing is happening outside. And then, after 1 year, 8 months, every strategy has failed. The Persians are basically very tired. They are almost giving up. Then there was this guy, his name was Zopyrus. Zopyrus was son to Megabesus, and Megabesus was one of the 7 who organized the insurrection against the Smartis, the impostor in Susa, who removed Smartis from power and then led to Darius becoming the king. So Zopyrus was like a general in the army. So one day he goes and he finds that one of his mules had given birth, and that was something that was not common or ordinary, or not something that was expected to happen. So he takes it to be a sign that Babylon could be captured. He didn't know how it could be done at that moment, but immediately he saw that, he was like, this is a sign. He remembered that there was a Babylonian who was jeering and mocking them and telling them, until a mule gives birth, you people are not going to take over our city. So he sees that, it's like, this is a sign, we can do it. So he goes, but he keeps it a secret, and he tells his servants not to tell anyone about it. So he started thinking, how can we capture this city? How can we end this siege? And then an idea came to his mind, and he put a plan in place. He went, he cut off his ears, he cut off his nose, then he flogged himself, he gave himself a lot of marks on his body, he was bleeding all over. And then he goes to Darius in that state, and Darius sees him, and Darius is confused, and at the same time he's angry, like, who can do this to a very respectable general of mine? And he asks Zopyrus to tell him what happened, and Zopyrus tells him, don't worry, no one has hurt me, I did this to myself. And Darius is of course confused, like, why do you do that to yourself? He's like, this is part of my plan of us capturing Babylon. And Darius asks him to explain, and he tells Darius, this is what I want you to do. I'm going to leave right now. I'm going to the Babylonians alone, and when I reach there, I'm going to present myself as somebody who's escaped from your army. I've deserted, and I want to go to their side, and I'm going to tell them that it is you who punished me like this, and you punished me like this because I told you we end this siege and go back home. So Darius listens and is like, okay. And then he tells Darius, this is what I want you to do. When I'm gone 10 days, you send 1,000 men. Just the kind of men you don't really mind losing. Don't arm them that much. Let them come. I'll kill them with the help of the Babylonians. And then after that, wait for another 7 days, send another 2,000 men. I'll kill them. Then after 20 days, send another 4,000 men. I'll kill them. And then after 20 days from the last lot I've killed that you've sent me, now come with the entire army. At that point, the Babylonians would have trusted me enough such that I'll likely have the keys to the gates, and when you come, I'll just open the gates for you to come in. That sounded like a good plan, and they put it to work. So Zopyrus left. He went to the Babylonian. He reaches at the gate. They open the gate, just small a space, and they ask him, who are you? What do you want? And he gives them the story of who I tried. A Persian. I'm tired. I tried telling Darius that we go home, and he punished me like this. So they let him in. They take him to the magistrates, and they question him. And he tells them, you know what, I know a lot of secrets, and I can help you people. I'm so angry with Darius for him doing this to me, and I'm ready to work with you people because I want to punish him, and I know a lot of secrets that can help you overcome him. So they trust him. So as agreed, Darius sent some men as they had agreed, and this guy, with the help of a group of Babylonians, they killed these people, and then at last, Darius comes with an entire army. At this point, the Babylonians trust this Zopyrus so much that they've indeed given him the keys to the gates. So when Darius comes with the entire army, he opens the gate, and it's a surprise for the Babylonians, and Darius captures the city. And but he didn't kill everyone. He just took, Herodotus tells us he takes like 3,000 of the leading citizens, the people who are in power. He had them killed, and then he told the rest to just go back to their lives. And indeed, he went ahead and went to the nearby tribes and brought them women, about 50,000 women. That's what Herodotus tells us, so that the city can continue existing. And that was the second capture of Babylon by the Persians. And it was thanks to Zopyrus, who did it after mutilating himself.